ABC7 Bangor.
This is ABC7 News at Noon.
The prosecution and defense gave final arguments yesterday in the trial of Zachary Borg. Good afternoon, I'm Beth Jones. Coming up, we'll take a look. Also, one man was found dead following a fire on the Lewiston Road in West Gardner Thursday. And Ian has left Florida. We'll look at the damage as the storm now heads for the Carolinas. That's coming up along with the rest of our news. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Well, first, let's get a check of the weather with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin.
Hey, Beth. Happy Friday afternoon. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Luigi and Fredericks, across from Eastern Maine Medical Center, serving the greater Bangor area for over 65 years. Alrighty, so advisories. We did have frost and freeze alerts that were in effect earlier this morning. Those have now been dropped. No small crowd advisories in effect along the coast either. So we're looking pretty good out there in the clouds, staying away from now, but we'll be under a partly cloudy sky as we head towards the afternoon period, though. Thanks to this front right here, but also courtesy of Hurricane Ian that's going to be making another landfall near the Carolina coast coming up later this afternoon into the evening time frame. We'll see the clouds from this system, but the wind and the precipitation for now will stay at bay. But for now, though, increasing clouds on the way later this afternoon. We'll keep those clouds moving in later on tonight and the parts of the daytime tomorrow. So enjoy the sunshine today while we have it. Otherwise, though, the wind's not too bad out of the southwest at about 5 miles per hour, remaining rather relaxed. So notice they stay relaxed later on tonight in the parts of the daytime tomorrow as well. So your forecast for today, not too bad. Middle 60s, partly cloudy. That southwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, middle 40s becoming mostly cloudy. That south wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, middle 60s becoming mostly cloudy as more clouds move in, with that west breeze getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the afternoon period. Mixture of clouds and sun. Overall temperatures in the lower to middle 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Beth?
Alrighty, Devin, thanks so much. We'll be waiting for it. In the meantime, an Old Town woman charged in connection with the death of her 3-year-old daughter entered a guilty plea in court Thursday. According to the Penobscot County District Attorney, Hillary Goding's daughter passed away after being exposed to fentanyl. On Thursday, Goding pleaded guilty to manslaughter and violating conditions of release for speaking to a witness after she was incarcerated. Defense attorney Jeff Silverstein says as a result of her guilty plea, the state agreed to dismiss the murder charge against her.
She knew what she is responsible for having done, and she was willing to accept responsibility on a manslaughter basis.
Well, sentencing is expected to take place in the coming weeks. Also on the legal front, the prosecution and defense gave final arguments yesterday in the trial of Zachary Borg. Our Matthew Jurancic has that story.
Closing statements for the Zachary Borg case were held at Penobscot Judicial Center Friday morning. Borg faces charges for furnishing drugs to a minor, endangering the welfare of a child, and domestic violence reckless conduct with a dangerous weapon. The defense argued Borg did not furnish drugs to his 11-month-old infant who suffered an overdose.
Inviting an adult inside one's home to use drugs is not giving, dispensing, or transferring drugs to a child. Consuming drugs by inhaling them off a coffee table is not giving, dispensing, or transferring drugs to a child.
However, Assistant District Attorney Chelsea Linz argued that all charges against the defendant should be upheld.
Even if you accept the defense's proposition that we just have no way of knowing where or when in this house Isabella ingested fentanyl, does that really negate these charges? Or is that the case here, Your Honor? Is that this whole case?
After presenting evidence and cross-examinations of witnesses, Judge William Henderson says he needs more time to make a decision.
I need to solidify in my own mind the definition of those words in a criminal context before I can actually decide the case.
Linz says although she's disappointed there was no decision, she understands the implications in a case like this.
This really is kind of a novel trial with novel issues, and the reason for that is we really do not have the laws that we need to be able to protect kids when it comes to fentanyl exposure. Our laws just have not kept up with the fentanyl crisis at all, and this is the prime example of that.
And while no decision was made today, the court is set to reconvene in 10 days where a verdict will likely occur. Reporting from Bangor, Matthew Juronsik, ABC7 and Fox 22.
A man was found dead yesterday following a fire in West Gardner. According to the Maine Department of Public Safety, the West Gardner Fire Department responded to a call at 810 Lewiston Road at approximately 11:40 a.m. Firefighters discovered a deceased man while extinguishing the flames. Maine Public Safety says the deceased is believed to be 83-year-old Sherwood Keene, who was renting the property. His remains have been transported to the office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Augusta. The state fire marshal is investigating. The cause of that fire not yet determined. And crews from Newburgh and surrounding towns responded to a fire that destroyed a home yesterday afternoon. Fire Chief Brent Somers says the house at 1083 North Road was fully engulfed in flames when they arrived on scene.
It was a defensive fight only. We took it from the outside, went from the front, from the two sides, basically a surround and drown.
Well, the cause of the fire is still under investigation. The chief says they stayed on scene for a couple of hours to put out hot spots. And Bangor police are investigating a two-car collision at the intersection of Oddland Road and I-395 in Bangor on Thursday. A witness tells us they saw one of the drivers going straight through a green light at the intersection while another driver was turning onto Oddland Road at the same time. One person was taken to the hospital. Bangor Fire Lieutenant Ben Morey says his team was called when they received reports about an injury.
We got called after the fact. Originally came in as nobody was hurt, and then someone complained of being hurt, so they sent the fire department.
Well, the intersection was cleared, and the Bangor Police Department continues to investigate that incident. Days after Ian's landfall in southwest Florida, we are just beginning to grasp the scope of the loss of life and damage left in its wake. This morning, search and rescue operations and recovery efforts are underway. ABC's Justin Finch is in St. Petersburg with the latest.
Destruction as far as the eye can see. Southwest Florida in shambles after Hurricane Ian roared ashore, lashing the area with near Category 5 storm strength.
You watch things starting to fly. Lunar and I went off. Part of the roof went off. The rest of the roof went off. The walls caved in.
The difficult search for survivors underway.
These are very challenging circumstances for our rescuers, very dangerous circumstances. They're dealing with high water, cities that don't look like cities anymore.
ABC's Victor Okendo with the Cajun Navy. This mother and daughter rescued from the top of their car.
3 hours watching the water rise. What was that like?
Scared to death. Scared to death. I thought I was going to die right there.
This could be the deadliest hurricane in Florida's history.
President Biden warning the number of deaths from the storm is likely to rise significantly.
The impacts of this storm are historic, and the damage that was done has been historic.
The Southwest Florida landscape transformed. The U.S. Coast Guard surveying the damage from above. Barreling east over central Florida, a weakened Ian brought heavy rain plus storm surges. ABC's Trevor Ault on the impact.
It led to significant flooding in places like St. Augustine. It led to water rescues in Daytona Beach.
The eastern shores of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas on high alert as Ian now moves north, on track for a second landfall as a Category 1 hurricane in South Carolina. Justin Finch, ABC News, St. Petersburg.
And coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, as winter approaches and the cost of oil climbs, more money is on the way to Maine for low-income home energy assistance. That's coming up next. We'll be right back.
When it looks the part, but isn't the real thing, that's fool's golden. Jared Golden promised he'd be an independent fighter against Biden's spending, but then cast a deciding vote for Biden's newest spending bill that experts say will hike taxes $1 billion on those making under $50,000. Golden may think we're fools, but his recent vote shows Mainers what he's really made of. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Need to unwind from a long day of work? Come experience life at Mad Cat & Company Bar and Grill in the North Brewer Shopping Plaza, where we serve delicious food, ice-cold beer, and unique cocktails. We have a fully stocked bar, American pub-style food, exemplary service, a fun atmosphere, and plenty of weekly entertainment. We now offer Sunday morning brunch, and stick around with the kiddos for Sunday afternoon kids karaoke and dance party. Our newly remodeled banquet room offers plenty of space for your next get-together. It's never a dull moment at Mad Cat's because we are the party.
If I don't hear from you tonight, pull this over. I know it, but I can't let go. Everything I love is out to sea.
The Greg B. Harrell Show. ...
Am I supposed to read the ...
More than that, you know there's nothing.
Don't believe the lies from Washington's special interests. Jared Golden's a different type of Democrat. I respect that Jared served in the Marines. Jared's a friend of law enforcement, and we definitely can trust him to keep our communities and families safe. Jared is standing strongly against defunding the police.
This endorsement was not a given. Congressman Golden's earned it.
Mr. Golden will definitely fight for us and be in our corner and have our backs, absolutely.
I'm Jared Golden, and I'm honored to approve this message.
You and the defendant and her family leased an apartment together.
Her cash poor roommate cashed in.
She loaned you some money.
$1,500.
Your medical bills. Who paid them?
She did.
What else?
Christmas gift for her daughters.
And did you put that on a credit card?
Yes.
But her multiple debts caused division.
I got it. And you're the bad guy. Now you can't live there anymore.
Next, Judge Judy.
Friday at 5, only on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back. The U.S. House goes after big tech companies and new antitrust legislation. The House approved a bill giving states more power to pursue antitrust legislation against giant tech companies such as Meta, Google, Amazon, and Apple. The bill passed in bipartisan voting by a 242 to 184 vote. Companies would have to disclose subsidies from sources deemed strategic or economic risks to the U.S. States can also choose locations of courts to hear federal antitrust cases. Some conservatives objected to the bill over potential revenue for regulators and federal overreach. Well, some federal student loan borrowers will no longer qualify for the Biden administration's forgiveness program. In a reversal, the Education Department announced borrowers whose federal student loans are held by private lenders will be excluded. Last month, President Biden announced borrowers could get up to $10,000 forgiven. Pell Grant recipients could get up to $20,000 forgiven. The reversal comes as legal challenges mount to block the student loan forgiveness program. 6 Republican-led states have filed suit. Well, Maine's junior Senator Independent Angus King is applauding the passage of a bill that, among other things, will provide an additional $1 billion for the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP. King called the bill a bipartisan effort and says it passed in the Senate by a vote of 72 to 25. Of the $1 billion going to the LIHEAP program, millions will come to Maine to help the thousands of families across the state who rely on the program. H.R. 6833 funds the federal government through December 16th, and in addition to the LIHEAP funding, it also includes $12 billion in critical emergency aid for Ukraine and billions in disaster aid to states that need help to recover from floods, wildfires, and other disasters. There is also funding to reimburse veterans traveling to access mental health services and ensure our service members continue to get paid. Senator King said this funding will save and improve countless lives. The package is expected to receive final approval by the House of Representatives this week, so time running short there. Well, there's now a chance to own a piece of Blue Hills history. The Barncastle Hotel and Pub was built in 1884 and has become a popular place for visitors. It is now for sale. Isaac and Lorelei Robbins have been running the business for 16 years. They've made numerous improvements and expanded the offerings, but they say it's now time to try some new challenges and let someone else take the reins.
This feels like a good time for someone else to bring some fresh energy to the place, and we're excited to find the right people who can do something great and keep giving back to the Blue Hill community. Because
the beautiful building has its own pub, restaurant, and a newly refurbished carriage house that can be used for special events. There's also a kitchen that's been used to serve delicious wood-fired pizzas. The hotel is listed with the Swan Real Estate Company, and it can all be yours for $1.6 million. Well, with Friday's business news now, here is Leo Jonathan.
Another sell-off on Wall Street as recession approaches. The S&P closed Thursday down 2.1%, its lowest level since January 2021. The Nasdaq lost 2.8%. The Dow closed down 1.5%. First-time unemployment claims falling again across the country. 193,000 people filed unemployment claims last week, down 16,000 from the week before, the lowest since May. Peloton, the exercise equipment maker, will start showing up in Dick's Sporting Goods stores. It's the first Peloton machines that will be available outside its own stores. Last month, Peloton announced it would start selling equipment and clothes on Amazon. And coming to McDonald's, a Happy Meal for adults. The fast food chain is teaming with fashion brand Cactus Plant Flea Market. Fans will have a choice of a Big Mac or chicken nuggets, and inside, a collectible figurine. I'm Leo Jonathan with Friday's Business on ABC 7.
All righty, thank you, Leo. And coming up, Maine Preservation has announced its 2022 Most Endangered Historic Places list. When we return, we'll take a look. We'll be right back.
Our Medicare supplement and drug coverage is so expensive, we're barely keeping up with our bills.
My husband and I were in the same situation, so I got some help from the Senior Planning Center. They were able to show us some high-quality Medicare Advantage plans that saved us a lot of money.
The Senior Planning Center, tell me more.
They have helpful agents all over the state, real Mainers helping Mainers. Give them a call, the Senior Planning Center. They were there to help when it mattered most. I'm glad I called them. You'll be glad too.
This Veterans Day, join Fox ABC Maine as we salute and honor our veterans. Are you an active, inactive, or retired member of the armed services? Do you know someone who is? Then upload your photos on foxbangor.com/Maine Heroes. We will randomly select as many veterans as possible to win a gift card. Locally sponsored by the Coach House Restaurant, Herman Meadow Golf Club, Joe's Furniture Warehouse, and Maine Collision Center.
Feel the difference of alpaca apparel from the Blue Alpaca Ranch and Store in Belfast. Stop by their ranch location to interact with these amazing animals and enjoy the beautiful Maine outdoors with your very own alpaca walk. Shop in-store or online today and take advantage of their free nationwide shipping. With their incredible selection of socks, sweaters, hats, and more, experience the unique qualities that alpaca fiber brings with the Blue Alpaca. Feel the difference.
It's an exciting week on Wheel.
It's huge, yeah.
It's really big.
It's really, really big, actually.
Because we're celebrating some of America's greatest teachers.
Yeah. Very nice.
And with so many subjects.
Economics.
Vocabulary. Science.
Get ready for some serious schooling.
Wow.
It's Teachers Week on Wheel.
How exciting is that?
I love it.
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
The road to the Tournament of Champions is filled with incredible streaks.
23-day, 38-day,
40-day champion.
Heartbreaking upsets.
Oh, you bet everything.
And brushes with greatness. This fall, it all starts with the first ever Jeopardy Second Chance competition, when 18 returning contestants face off for a shot against legends hungry for the ultimate title. This is what you've been waiting for. It's the biggest Jeopardy Tournament of Champions ever.
All this week at 7:30, only on ABC 7.
First responders in Somerset County were treated to a free lunch yesterday afternoon. The Height family of dealerships and Skowhegan Savings Bank teamed up to host the 4th annual First Responder Barbecue with smoked pork, wings, corn muffins, and ice cream. Now I'm officially hungry. It's the first time they've been able to hold the event in person and on site in 2 years because of COVID. Skowhegan Police Chief David Bucknam said the event is a great opportunity to get together with first responders across the region. He said they usually see each other in emergency situations, but they rarely get the chance to get together over a meal. Sam Height of the Height family of dealerships started the event in 2019. He said he wanted to make sure that first responders in the community knew how much they are appreciated day in and day out. Nonprofit organization Maine Preservation has announced its 2022 Most Endangered Historic Places list, saying that the list in part, quote, underscores the diversity of buildings and sites significant to Mainers and the myriad of challenges faced by passionate individuals and communities in saving, restoring, and repurposing those places. Number 1 on the list is the American Can Company building located in Eastport, which is being highlighted for potential reuse. It was built back in 1908 by the Seacoast Canning Company at a time when the company was the largest sardine canner in the industry. Number 2 is Fort George, located in Castine, which is a Revolutionary War-era fort originally built as Fort Castine by British forces in 1779. Number 3, the St. Louis Church in Auburn, traces its origins to 1902 when it formed to serve the mostly French-Canadian neighborhood in New Auburn. Number 4 is the one-room Pigeon Hill Schoolhouse in Oxford, which was constructed in 1867 to replace the previous school that was lost to fire. And finally, number 5, the Gothic Revival-style designed Washburn Memorial Library in Livermore. That one built in 1883, and it was to learn more about the history of these buildings, and why they're being threatened. Head to mainepreservation.org. Well, future generations will be able to hear directly from veterans and better understand the realities of war thanks to the Veterans History Project at the Library of Congress. Over the last year, Senator Angus King conducted interviews with 9 veterans from Maine, and yesterday, he formally delivered those interviews to the Librarian of Congress.
Out of over 114,000 individual stories in the Veterans History Project, we have some work to do in the state of Maine. Currently, there are 300 stories from the state of Maine. So there's more to do to make sure that those voices are represented and expand our national understanding of our collective history.
King said it's important to make sure the sacrifice of Maine veterans is never forgotten. He said by listening to their stories, we can also find ways to make their lives and the lives of future servicemen and women better. Alrighty, folks, when we return, Devin Biggs is back with your 5-day forecast.
Did you know that it's possible to buy the wrong type of flooring for your home? Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or professional contractor, the experts at Don DeKalb Mainwood Floors are here to help, offering solid pro advice from choosing the right material and color to installation. Don DeKalb features the highest quality hardwood flooring sourced from lumber right here in Maine, from Maine traditions. Not only will you get a floor you'll love, you'll get a floor that will last. Don DeKalb Mainwood Floors, buy from the best, forget the rest.
Saliba's Rug Cleaners in Bangor is the best and only spot you should go to for your rug cleanings. Serving Maine for more than 70 years, we care about your rugs. Clean rugs last longer, and our family takes pride in being the professionals that you can trust. Our cleaning process consists of soaking your rug in a bath, shampooing, rinsing, and drying in a humidity-controlled dry room, making sure no detail is overlooked. Need a repair? We fully service every type of rug for you. Saliba's Rug Cleaners.
We care about your rugs.
I'm Jim with Lowry & Associates. Winning car accident cases is what we do. Check out a few of our big wins.
I broke my wrist and they got me $185,000. What did the twos do for you?
I injured my hip and they got me $260,000. What did the twos do for you?
I needed multiple surgeries and Lowry & Associates got me $350,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Mainers work hard, but Joe Biden's inflation is making life miserable. Heating oil costs are crushing Maine families. I'm Bruce Poliquin, and for too many, this means choosing between gas, groceries, or freezing. Biden and all Democrats created this mess, and they're making it worse. Congress needs more Maine common sense, not more spending on those who won't work or more taxes on those who do. I'm Bruce Poliquin, and I approve this message because Maine needs a congressman who will stand up to Biden and help Maine families.
The family of Graham Locker has increased the reward for information leading to his safe return. Locker went missing on June 6th when he fled the grounds of the Dorothea Dick Psychiatric Center in Bangor. According to his mother, Tammy Locker Scully, the reward has been increased from $500 to $2,500 thanks to money pledged through GoFundMe. Scully says Locker is diagnosed autistic and schizophrenic and is afraid of people. Although he's been missing since June, Graham's mother believes there is a strong chance he could still be alive.
We are optimistic that Graham has survived because he's very concerned about his well-being. He doesn't abuse substances, he cares about what he eats, he exercises.
Well, along with upping the reward, Locker's family is asking hunters and outdoor enthusiasts to also be on the lookout.
We're making a special appeal to hunters and guides. It's getting colder, hunting season's about to start. That gives us a whole group of people whose eyes haven't been on this before now. We hope that one of them may see him.
Well, the family is at the Bangor Public Library today until 1 p.m. handing out flyers and providing details about the reward. You can head over there or visit the Facebook page Missing Graham Locker for more information. Well, the Maine Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry has released their annual foliage report for the entire state. As of Wednesday, northern parts of Aroostook, Piscataquis, and Penobscot counties have the most intense foliage in the state, with areas like Millinocket, Holton, Greenville, and Rangeley having less intense colors than the most northern parts of the state, but still experiencing brighter trees than other southern areas. Southern Maine, from Camden to Kittery, is still seeing the lowest levels of color in the state. And finally today, let's check your full weekend forecast with Mr. Devin Biggs. Devin?
Happy Friday afternoon. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Scott's Recreation, New England's largest trailer dealer, home of Maine's lowest camper and tractor prices, with locations in Turner, Manchester, Herman, and Orono, Maine. Alrighty, here we are this afternoon, looking pretty good out there. The clouds are staying to the south. For now is the key word, though. We will become partly cloudy as the afternoon progresses, as we're watching some of these clouds trying to seek in from the south going toward the north, but they'll have a hard time doing so with high pressure. But eventually, later this afternoon to the evening time frame, that will happen. But otherwise, so the big headline has been Hurricane Ian, which is going to be sending some of those clouds in our direction. Now, here's some of the development that we have been noticing, and really over the past several hours, it's really tried to blow up again. So we'll see if it tries to intensify again right before it makes it to landfall. Right now, it's moving from the south toward the north at about 9 miles per hour. That'll also blow up within the last few hours, too, that we have our eye on. We have hurricane warnings along the coast here with tropical storm warnings over in the orange, so hurricane warnings in the red, and the orange, these are tropical storm warnings. 85 mile per hour winds, again moving towards the north at about 9 miles per hour, which is a Category 1 hurricane. It's going to be making that turn more towards the north-northwest and making landfall late this afternoon in the evening time frame. Then once it makes landfall, it'll become a tropical storm and eventually going extratropical before it finally starts the weekend and hopefully get out of here. Wave heights back here at home looking pretty good at around 2 feet. No small craft advisories in effect. Wave heights a little bit higher further down toward the south, courtesy of Hurricane Ian at this point. Our average high is 65 degrees. We'll be in the middle 60s today and tomorrow with the middle 50s. Cooling off as we head towards Sunday, but a warm up again as we head towards next week, back into the lower to middle 60s. Alrighty, futurecast for today, increasing clouds throughout the afternoon period, more so into the evening period as well. So either way, though, a beautiful day on the way, but mostly cloudy as we head towards your Saturday, though, courtesy of the clouds moving in. Any rain will stay to the south, so we will not have to worry about any precipitation. The winds should stay at bay as well. We just have the clouds to look forward to. Then maybe by Sunday morning, we'll have to watch out for a little bit of wind that may try to get going. So for today, not too bad. Middle 60s, partly cloudy skies, maybe even mostly sunny in a few spots. That southwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, middle 40s, mostly cloudy with that south wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, Saturday, middle 60s, mostly cloudy. That west wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Scott's Recreation extended forecast. We're dry for the next few days, though. In fact, becoming mostly sunny by Monday with highs in the upper 50s. The lower 60s on Tuesday with a partly cloudy sky.
Alrighty, Devin, thanks so much. That is a dandy fall forecast heading our way. Well, that's going to do it for us, for everyone here at ABC 7 News. Thanks for watching. I'm Beth Jones, and we'll see you this evening on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon and a great weekend, folks.
half of his life, Ed Bushy hid his inability to read from everyone until a crisis led him to confront his secret. So he called literacy volunteers at Bangor. He got a tutor and he learned to read.